Hey everybody, I'm doing a live stream and I have not done a live stream for some time and I'm going to get myself high on some caffeine so that I can speak with a clear mind. Today was kind of a bad day at work and I would like to talk some about what was wrong with work today. Um, First of all, I had a biometric screening today with the dietitian. It was something that I scheduled because the dietitian had an opening available. What the hell? What? Is it working? I don't know. Okay, I think my audio is working. Technology won't even cooperate with me while I'm trying to do my live stream because I want to talk about some things and update my few friends I have online about what's going on. So I had my biometric screening with the dietitian today, and it was something I wanted to do, something that's available, but it was the opening for that was 15 minutes before I start work, and it doesn't take long. But see, for that I fasted 12 hours and could drink only water, and so I did not have. Keeps quitting. Okay, I had to reboot into Windows and then it still let me join my live stream again because I'm trying to tell my story of my rotten day at work and what else has been going on in life. Now, most people don't pay any attention to me because I'm a nobody in society's eyes. I know that. But the defining thing about me is I've always been a person who's been very open and very honest about how I think and feel, and I'm very cringe too. I say embarrassing things. I'm autistic, and I basically just don't give a shit what people think of me in general. However, in recent times, so much in my life has changed. So much has changed, and I'm not at all like I used to be. Um, so I feel that to understand where I'm at in life now, you have to see the contrast of what my life was like, say, a year ago or 2 years ago. You know, I've been living in this apartment. For 2 years, I lived in this apartment alone, and I worked a full-time job for Brilliant until they screwed me over and injured my knee. It was stupid, and I was forced to resign that job because I could no longer perform it. And I got hired at Hy-Vee, and I've been doing good at Hy-Vee, and I was doing good in the floral department until today because I had no caffeine or food in my system, and so I did very poorly at work. I'm sure that I'll do well tomorrow, assuming they don't fire me for my one bad day. But now things are different than they used to be because I used to have good knees, I used to have testicles, and I used to live alone. And so much has changed. I've had a lot of changes, physical and mental, all kinds of things have changed. And now that I have a roommate and I live with my roommate River, things are different because now having another person in my life is interesting. Just it's not the same as being alone because when you're alone, you're only affecting yourself. It's what you say and do. But one thing I do know is I want to always retain my true, honest soul. And that's the topic of this video, is that I am a person who speaks the truth, and I'm not afraid to admit when I've messed up. Like today at work, I really screwed up because I was not doing as well as I should have. I made the mistake of doing that biometric screening and fasting the same day I had work. But a lot has changed, not just with my life, but this world in general. This whole world, it has been changed by this whole COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm not really going to go in depth into that because did you know there's a huge list of rules in YouTube's terms of service and Facebook as well of all the things that you're not allowed to say? I kid you not. I'm not allowed to say certain things about COVID-19 or the vaccines or anything. I'm not allowed to talk about it. If I do, they'll just ban my account. But what I do want to say, though, is that the world has been changed by this whole pandemic, and people have different reactions to it. They really have different reactions, and the bottom line is, I believe that people have a right to choose what vaccines they take or not, and and they can believe what they want about these things. I'm not here to change your mind and to tell you what to do or believe. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about how I feel and my reaction to this strange new world we live in, because this is not the same world that it was 3 or 4 years ago. No, this is a whole different world we live in. Let me tell you, I've come out of some strange systems. I was raised in Christianity, for example, where everybody believes in the Bible and in God and all that stuff. And then as soon as I stopped believing in that stuff, then sure, I was treated as the weird person, and people told me I was going to hell and some weird stuff, and I left churches because I just couldn't deal with people. And then I sort of went on my own journey to figure myself out. Everybody's got to have an existential crisis or something. But that's easy. Leaving religion is relatively easy. And it's also not too difficult to be different from society. I'm already different. I'm transgender, I'm vegan, I'm celibate, and I'm not like other people. I'm not like other people, and that's cool, But society doesn't really tolerate people who are different. And here's the thing now. It's weird because you're not allowed to disagree with people about things. And bottom line is, I'm a person who wants to be able to speak the truth. And I don't like being told what I can or cannot say. I don't like that, and I don't think anybody really does. My intention is to tell the truth the best I know it, and to tell the truth about how I feel. And to find out that people are not allowed to say certain words in certain places online, and people are not allowed to talk about certain subjects or share certain opinions on certain subjects, this kind of censorship really makes me wonder what kind of world we're living in. Is this Nazi Germany? Is this Soviet Russia? Is this the Handmaid's Tale? What kind of world is this? Where people cannot be true and speak their truth. And I feel like here's what it comes down to. Here's what it comes down to is I'm not a fan of religion or politics and stuff like that. And there are many reasons, but the bottom line is that these things squash honesty. They squash honesty. Because if you're not allowed to express your differences of opinion, your differences of belief, if you leave a religion, you're threatened with hellfire and you're shunned by the community. If you have a different political opinion, then you're punished and people think you're evil and you could be punished by society. You know what I mean? Just like, for example, people who are gay or transgender historically have been beaten up or killed for it. Discrimination used to be a lot worse than it is today. Today, it's relatively mild because you're less likely to get killed for being transgender or gay today than maybe 50 years ago. But this applies to so many things. And I feel like we live in a world where people don't tolerate differences. And the reason people don't tolerate differences is because they're afraid. They're afraid when they see somebody else who is different than them. It brings to their mind the question, well, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong about what I believe or the way I live my life? What if I'm wrong? Have you ever had that moment where you wonder, what if you're wrong about something? Oh, I have those moments all the time. And usually I am wrong. But the difference between me and other people, there is one key difference between me and other people, is that I can admit when I'm wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong about things. And I've realized something. I realized that I do not approve of politics. I do not approve of making things illegal and punishing things by law. That is something that I've realized. I've realized something like that because as soon as you go down that slippery slope, well, this thing is immoral and I don't like it and therefore it should be illegal, therefore people who do this should go to jail. Well, it might be good or it might be bad, you know. For example, they tried making alcohol illegal, you know, and well, people still drink alcohol. I don't know. I've never read the whole history of what happened with that because honestly, who cares? But they tried making alcohol illegal. It didn't work. People still did it, you know. And here's what I feel like is that by making things illegal and by making things punishable and punishing people for certain behaviors or opinions, you're not stopping them from having those beliefs or opinions or doing those things. You're not stopping them by punishing them. All you're doing is making people get better at hiding what they're doing so that they're not punished. That's all you do. That's really all you do when you make things illegal, start punishing people. That's why you would have people who would hide the fact that they were gay or transgender, for example. You know? And so because I'm a person who values truth and values honesty, I feel like we need to have an honest world. And I feel like I am an enemy to religion, to politics, or to any system that wants to tell people what they can and cannot do or say and cannot say. And let's be clear about something. There are things that I think are bad. Obviously, probably number one would be what humans do to animals. You know, I'm an ethical vegan and I don't want to hurt animals. So that's why I avoid, you know, meat, dairy, eggs, honey, leather, wool, all those kinds of things. But I feel like what would happen is if suppose even though it's definitely a bad thing, I would agree for people to be doing these things to animals. What happens if these things are made illegal? Let's suppose factory farms are made illegal. Suppose it becomes illegal to kill these other animals. What if murder becomes illegal, as it should be? Well, then what happens? How do you punish people for murder? Do you kill them? You know what I mean? And what I've realized in my own life, and this is really whack, and I don't know if this will even make sense to anyone, but there are times when avoiding of killing does not work. There are times you can't avoid killing. No doubt. It's sort of like spiders. Okay, so if I kill all the spiders in my apartment, I'm killing them. But if I let the spiders live, then they live and they kill other bugs. So by letting them live, I'm killing other bugs. So being pro-life doesn't really work. Not really. It really doesn't work all that much. But being pro-truth, on the other hand, that's another thing. Because you can't avoid actions that involve killing all the time. And this is something that, for some odd reason, non-vegans try to remind vegans of this. Like, well, that no one is 100% vegan because, you know, you might kill bugs as you farm crops. I'm like, well, true. So they point to the fact that nobody can completely avoid killing as an excuse for their lifestyle of killing when they don't have to, which is just really dumb. But it is true. There is no good way out of killing. Sometimes there's just no way out, because just that's why the abortion issue will continue to be controversial. It always will, and people already know what I think about that issue. But I feel like things are oversimplified way too much. And I don't like censorship. And I feel like people will say hurtful things and people will say harmful things. People may even say things that result in people dying. So there comes a point where someone has to choose. Do they value freedom of speech? Do they value truth? Or do they value the lives of others or themselves? You can have your life and you can have your truth, but sometimes you can't have both. And it comes down to, personally for me, am I willing to die for the truth of what I really think and believe? And the answer to that is yes. Because here's the thing. Now, we're all going to die. We're all going to die sooner or later. And everyone has their own different opinion about what happens to us after we die. If we stop existing, or if we go to heaven or hell, or if we're reincarnated into a honeybee. I don't know. But you can't avoid death. You can't avoid death. But you can avoid telling the truth, and you can't avoid lying. So the one thing that I can't guarantee is I can't guarantee that I won't be killed. And of course, something will kill me eventually anyway. And so I've been thinking a lot about death lately. And don't worry, I'm not like suicidal or anything like that. But just a few days ago, one of the floral clerks was talking about, the different options about burial and cremation and something else, some new thing about what they want done to their remains or whatever. And all this talk about death really got me thinking. And I realized that, first of all, I really should get something legally in place. Like, I really should. Not that I have much in terms of money, but like, I probably should put something in place about, what happens to my stuff, what happens to whatever money I have when I die, who does it go to? I probably should get something like that done, because it's probably a good idea. But it also just got me really thinking about perspectives in life. You know what I mean? Because I'm actually pretty happy with my life in general right now. I have a great apartment. I have a great roommate. I have a great job. And sure, I didn't do very well at today, but I will do better tomorrow. I swear it. But I was just thinking about it, and I was just thinking about, what do I value? And I value my ability to speak honestly. That's the thing I can do. And one thing you can count on me, people who know me personally, they know that they can ask me things and they'll get a straight answer. You know what I mean? Because I don't play games. I just can't do it. I like to speak the truth. But something else I have also learned is that often when people ask you questions, they don't really want to hear the truth. They really don't. And sometimes people, they ask, how are you? They don't really want to know. And so I still feel that people, to a certain extent, have to prove themselves if they really want to hear what's going on and what I think. I'm not going to bother telling people unless they really have time to listen. You get what I'm saying? But, I when I get stressed and I have a lot on my mind, sometimes I talk to my mom and sometimes I talk to my roommate, and after that I feel better. And so I thought by talking about what's on my mind, I might feel better. And lately I've been working a lot, and I haven't been doing my live stream videos very often. I haven't posted much on social media at all, except unless of course it's Tetris videos, because I've been playing a lot of Tetris recently. But I sort of missed the good old days when I used to do a lot more podcasts with people and that kind of thing, because I miss having a lot of stimulating conversations, and I still do to a limited extent, but I guess they're more limited and just not as exciting. But I feel bad that I haven't talked very much to my best online friends. You know who you are, my top friends online that I talk to, of which basically there's 3 friends basically that I used to talk to regularly on the internet. And then of course there's my roommate and there's my mom. And those are basically the most important people in my life. So that's the thing. And so the truth is, I probably should get to bed sometime soon, get some rest, because I'm working 9 to 5 tomorrow. So I need to get up early and get myself to work. And I hope I have a better day tomorrow than I did today, because I feel bad about my performance today at work. But sometimes you just have a really off day and you're not thinking straight, and today was one of those days. But I will tell you something. While I was deprived of food and caffeine and my brain wasn't functioning, I was really slow and I was not responding very quickly to things. So I was not doing well. But I will tell you one thing. During that moment, when I was like that and I was at work, I became very aware of my emotions. I became very aware of how I was feeling, because caffeine makes me functional, but at the same time, it sort of cancels out my emotions to a certain extent, which is what allowed me to focus on work. But instead, I was in my head. I was emotional, and I wasn't being very logical, and so that's part of what went wrong. But at the same time, it's also nice to actually be aware of what I'm feeling. And I realized exactly what I'm feeling. And what I'm feeling is I finally have a life I really enjoy. I love this apartment, and I love my roommate, I love my mother. I even love my job in the floral department, And yet, I can see that there's always the threat of it all being taken away. All it really takes is to get on someone's nerves and lose my job and income, making me homeless, and I lose everything. You know what I mean? And here's what I realized is people cannot threaten me directly. They cannot threaten my soul. My soul is invincible. Okay? All people can do is they can threaten the body. They can threaten to kill you, they can threaten to starve you by taking your job away. But all they can do is kill your body, but not your soul. And that's what I'm realizing. Because as I was telling my roommate, I'm not worried too much what people think of me as a person. I'm not really too much worried about what people think of me. The only time I'm even afraid at all is when I realize that people have the power to cause me physical harm. Sure, they can cause me physical harm. You know, they can come to my apartment and shoot me with a gun. They can do that, you know what I'm saying? But there is a limit. There is a limit to what someone can do. And I think we would all do well to remember that. And I know this because now I believe in the soul. And I didn't before. I really didn't before. But now I do. I realize that this body is not who I am. This is just the physical form I take in this lifetime. But this feeling is indescribable. I realize this stuff sounds crazy, but I do believe in the immortal soul that survives death of the body. And I don't know the details, and I don't know how to get the details of that. And honestly, I don't even know if I can. But what I'm thinking right now is that although I'm afraid sometimes of what people may do to my body, I'm not going to let them kill my soul. Because people can do things to me in my body, even if I didn't do nothing wrong, even if I do my very best to go by the rules of other people about what I can do or say, there's always going to be somebody who's pissed off. There's always somebody. There's always one tough customer, you could say. There's always somebody who's going to be mad at you no matter what you do. So my advice to you, whoever you are listening to this, be true to yourself and your own life, and speak your truth, what you really think or what you really feel, not what you think other people want to hear. And that's what I try to do in my life, and that's what I'm going to continue to try to do as long as I live. But for a while there, I almost forgot, because I got so sidetracked with what's going on with my roommate and my job. And there's a lot that I wanted to say, but I was afraid. But fear is my enemy. I don't want to be afraid. And being afraid also ruins my job performance. I need to not be afraid of those customers. Sometimes I am afraid of the customers. Sometimes I'm afraid of the phone when it rings. I need to get over it so I can work my job fully. Dealing with people is difficult. But you know what? I'll get better. I'm confident of that. So anyway, I guess that's my live stream for the night. I hope something I said made sense, but I am very tired. So I guess that's the end of it. And I can always respond to any questions or comments people have later on, I suppose. But I thought, hey, I might as well do a live stream. It's been a while. So bye for now.